Plastic Finger with you again. Today we're going to be repairing the windscreen washers. I was out the other day, realised that I wanted to press the button to wash them, to wash the windscreens, and it just didn't work. I'd filled it up previously, so I knew there was plenty of water in there. I think what I've done is I've done the lid up so tight. On the old pneumatic system, so it was an air-driven system, with a little bit on a windscreen washer, on a windscreen wiper lever. You had a little pull-up that allows you to squirt the windscreen. Later on, you'll see that somebody's put a little electric motor in, and they've cut the hose that runs to the windscreen washer. So we get into that. We'll put a non-return valve in lower down, and we'll see if we can get them working. The first thing I'm going to do is get my bicycle pump, pressurise the system, and see if it works. So I don't know what you can see down here. We've got speaker cables. We've got wiring for the headlights. We've got a little black tube on a black background here that comes out the water bottle. That's just an anchor post for the water bottle. This is the cap, and somewhere around here is, there it is the old tyre type pump up to pump air into this. Here we have the water pump that runs down to behind the air duct and down to the water bottle. Originally that ran from here through to this rubber hose here, which ran into the windscreen control switch, ran up to the windscreen control switch and the pump, and then came back out with the old air pressure thing. Now you can get a little switch that goes into this that when you press against it activates the pump. The guy who put this in didn't do that. What he did was he had this little switch here. If I switch the ignition on, yeah, you can hear it trying to pump away. Now, what I'm going to do is, on the pipe that runs down here to the main reservoir, I'm going to put a non-return valve in. I'm just going to follow the pipe, cut it, put a non-return valve in. Then, but before I do that, I think the reason it's not actually working is that there's a vacuum in here now. So I'm going to pump this up and see if I can't pump enough water up to here for that pump to wash the windscreen. Well, that proved that a couple of pumps for the bicycle pump was enough to pressurise the system, enough to drive past the pump in the electric pump and start washing the windscreen. So the next move now is to try and set the camera up where you can see what I'm doing with the hose that is going to be full of fluid now, as I cut it and insert the non-return valve. Then we'll pressurise it again, because I'm not sure the pump's got enough strength to draw all the water up, but we can do that anyway. What we've got to remember not to do is seal off the actual reservoir so it builds up a vacuum again, because of course the poor little 12 volt motor just hasn't got the strength to create and fight a huge vacuum. Right then, undo this. Ease this off. That pops out backwards, that slides out of there. Let's put that lid on there so we don't tip cleaning fluid everywhere. We want to take this out as best we can. I think the only way to do it is to remove this. Just quickly do that then. Comes forwards nicely, and we can see where the hose goes in here. Loads of room for a... It's a bit grubby there. That's a bit knackered there, probably just been sitting in vacuum. So I could cut it about here, replace this little lot, and put in a non-return valve here. The pipe is just starting to perish here, so I'm going to cut it here, put in a non-return valve here. Oh, there we go, it does unscrew. There we go, better still. So what I've done is I've inserted a 6mm non-return valve here. It's just literally pushed it into the tube. A non-return valve one way, white in, black out. There's a little arrow on it to be helpful, but I'm not sure you can see the contrast in this. Now we're ready to put this back. So I've got that on there ready to go. We'll slide that back in there, trying to keep these wires out the way. There we go. Let's get that now. And the 2 screws. I think this is going to be a case of I wish I had more hands again. Oh. I don't know what that is. We'll find out in a minute when it doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't seem to want to tighten up on there. There's our clamp for that. Don't know why that's not tightening up there. We'll have to get something in behind that at a later date. On goes the top. Remember to leave it loose. Check it works. Lovely. So, that's what I've done to that. Got to remember not to do this top up too over much, because it will build a vacuum. Now just tighten everything down and put the kick plate back in place.